Hey everybody, it's Uncle Eric. Yes, I'm still alive. I'm here. It's been a while. I want to do a video and say hi to you guys. I want to make sure my equipment still works. When you get to my age, you got to make sure your equipment still works. I think it works. I think we're good. I haven't bothered you guys because, frankly, do you want me to tell you how bad Echo is and how bad Madam Web is? No, you don't. No, you don't. You guys can figure that out all by yourselves. I did see Dune Part 2. I was a big fan of Dune Part 1. I was excited, but this movie disappointed me, mostly the third act. So if you're here, let's talk about it. Okay, so before we begin, I have to acknowledge two very important people to this channel. Those being Matthew McConaughey and Dildo Baggins. So good to hear from both of you. I am concerned about WG. He is the third member of the Holy Trinity. So if anyone knows WG, please tell him every day Eric says hello. All right, so here's my Dune resume. I played board games. I've played video games. I've read all the books, even the Kevin J. Anderson books. They're a mixed bag, really. I've seen the David Lynch movie. There's some good there. I do revisit it, and there's some not so good there. But I do watch it often. And then there's the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries, which, in my opinion, really gets it right. Gets the first three books right. So if you're interested in accuracy, and the books being well done, in my opinion, the first three, go check out that Sci-Fi Channel miniseries. I really liked Dune Part 1. I give it like a 9 out of 10. I thought they nailed it. I just loved the pace, the build-up. It didn't bother me when it stopped when it did. It made sense. So I loved it. So I was super excited. Oh, I'm a big Denis Villeneuve fan. I love all his movies. We all know him. They're all great. So I'm a big fan of his, and I was really pumped for this. But yeah, the third act for me was disappointing. So let's start off with, what did Dune Part 2 do right? Frank Herbert's message that we should be leery of trusting charismatic leaders. There's a downside to that. That was his goal, at least according to him. And so Dune Part 2 does seem to go in that direction. Maybe even a little too much, because when you're reading the first book of Dune, I don't know, the ending does seem a little more happy, and it's the next two books that kind of find our heroes getting into trouble. So, but Denis is going there with the theme, so okay, he's following the theme. I like the script, how it was developing the conflict between all our characters on whether Paul was the chosen one or not. Stilgar, very good and very funny. I liked some of the things. I liked when Paul, when he said, "Oh, I'm not the chosen one," and Stilgar goes, "Oh, he must be the chosen one," because he's denying that he is the chosen one. Things like that were very funny. I think they went a little too far with Shani. When you read the book, you come up with your own pronunciation for these things. And I read the book over 30 years ago, possibly 40 years ago. So, like, I say Harkonnen, even though it might be Harkonnen. You have to bear with me. I know there was no internet when I was a kid, so I had to come up with my own pronunciation for all this crap. So, might butcher that. But Shani. Her, Zendaya, I can't even pronounce her name right. They made her too much of a Karen, I think. Too much doubting Paul. She had some concerns in the book, but they really pushed the envelope here, so not sure I'm cool with that. I really liked the guerrilla warfare that we saw here in Dune Part 2. That was really well done. There's a lot of, whether it's the rocket launcher or the lasers, the ships, just the combat, that was really something we haven't seen before. So I really enjoyed that. It was really exciting and really well done. Yeah, great there. All the action in the beginning and in the middle of the movie I thought was great. I thought the third act definitely rushed, and I wasn't feeling it so much in the third act. The best part really was riding the sandworms. Paul mounting the sandworm and his struggle to get on top of that and handle that. And then once he did, like, the speed in the sand, like, they really conveyed a sense of speed that I didn't think about before. I really loved it. It was intense. It was all good. It was exciting. I mean, they really made those scenes great when they were traveling on the sandworms. That was cool. So, really awesome. Seeing the Harkonnen homeworld of Giddy Prime was also cool. I don't remember a whole lot of that in the books, so it was neat to see it. I know they shot it with what, infrared or something, so it looked really cool. It looked really brutal. Yeah, I was down with that too. So visually, the movie is stunning. We know this. I mean, it sounded amazing. All the sound designs, cinematography. I thought the acting was great. Even Zendaya. It wasn't her fault that she was like resting bitch face the whole movie, kind of grumpy, big Karen. That's the way she was written. That's the way she was directed. So she did the job she was told to do. And Christopher Walken, I thought that was very interesting choice for the Emperor. And I think there was a couple times I was giggling a little bit because he was giving us just a little hint of Christopher Walken voice. So yeah, it was good. I thought he was fine. He doesn't need to be a whole lot. He's not in the book a whole lot, really. So that was fine. That was funny. And who else? Oh, yeah, Mr. Butler as Fade Ratha. Yeah, he was good. He was something different. I mean, I really liked Sting's performance. I liked the guy in the Sci-Fi Channel. And so here, Mr. Butler's giving us something different. Yeah, I dug it. Good job. All right, so basically everything that was added, I'm cool with. The things that were changed or taken out of the story, I'm not cool with it. I think it ruins the ending of this film. I don't think any of the changes or omissions added anything to the story. So I just don't know why. You're lazy. You didn't do it. I don't get it. I mean, let's talk about Zendaya again. She should be by Paul's side at the end of the film. She's not. She just is grumpy and walks away and goes into the desert and rides a worm, and then the movie ends with a close-up of her, like it's her story all of a sudden. Totally changing that character. In the book, yes, she has concerns, but she's going to be by Paul's side. That's where she should be. So I don't know what they're doing here. Is the next movie going to be a Zendaya story? I don't know. The biggest mistake, though, is not having Paul's sister be born in this film. Alia. We'll go with Alia. You need the creepy little Alia with all that foresight and knowledge just hanging out and smirking. And you have to have it. Alia needed to be with the Baron at the end of this film, sassing the Baron. She needed to tell the Baron, when the Fremen are coming in that, my brother comes. I mean, it's such a good scene between those two, her sassing, and then she kills the Baron with what? The Gom Jabbar, right? A needle of some kind, poison needle. She needs to be the one to do that because in the future books, those two are going to have a connection. And we didn't have Alia here to do that. Plus, I just thought it was really weak how the Baron died. I mean, some nobody behind him hits him down off his little gear, and then Paul comes in and stabs him in the neck and says, "I'm going to kill you like an animal." None of that's in the book, and I don't think the Paul from the book. I don't think the Paul from these movies would even just do that. It seemed too easy, too brutal. It just seemed so obvious. It's just not Paul Atreides. So I don't like that at all. I think that kind of makes Paul too aggressive. It was a weak death for the Baron, and Alia needs to be present to have that connection. So, yeah, that was my biggest gripe. I thought most of those personal one-on-one fights also were not very strong. So Gurney taking on the Beast, it was just kind of quick and okay, it happened. I liked when Raban was afraid of Paul in that one scene. I thought that kind of was fun. But then I think they should have made Raban a little bit more back to being a little more scary at the end, a little more ferocious, and then we could have had a better fight between him and Gurney. The fight between Paul and Fade, some people really like it, but I'm losing sight of the book. I mean, I haven't read it to prep to talk to you guys. I've read it multiple times during my life, but I seem to remember Paul using various techniques in the fight. There was, you know, it wasn't just a brutal fight between two young guys with knives. I mean, he was using some of his techniques during the fight, whether it was foresight or something. Help me out in the comments with that. And then I know that Fade, you know, was very arrogant, and he had that little poison thing, little poison needle on his suit that he tries to use, right, in the book, and that wasn't even in the movie. And I just didn't like how the fight ended. Like, what, Paul's getting stabbed here, did he get stabbed in the hand? And then the camera, next thing we know, Fade is stabbed. It wasn't making sense to me. I don't think it was a good fight. And I think the fight in the book was better. Just, again, stick to kind of the book and what's going on. I think the other two movies or miniseries did it better. So it's kind of weak. Ending just kind of fizzled out. Everything was really rushed. And then things were happening really quick. And just kind of like, just kind of like fizzled out for me. All right, so I think we need a creepy little Alia in this movie. And I think we need Zendaya to be next to Paul at the end, and then have some kind of a little bit more of a positive ending, and then we can have the next two books that are going to do what they're going to do, you know, because this one just sort of fizzled out and it was meh, in my opinion. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I give Dune Part 1 like a 9 out of 10. This one, I maybe go 7 out of 10 because the issues just bother me. Yeah, I don't know. Give me more. Give me more. I'd take another hour. I enjoyed my time in the Dune universe. It's done very well. It's just, and I don't know how they're gonna do things moving forward with a more adult Alia and her struggle. I just don't know what they're gonna do. Interesting. All right, let me know in the comments what you guys think. It's awesome talking to you guys again. Let's chit chat in the comments. I will see you soon, and as always, I will see you on the new.